Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on whereabouts you are in the world. I hope you're having a phenomenal day so far, and welcome to this morning's stream where we're playing some Hollywood Animal as part of our First Play Fridays. So First Play Fridays where we just pick up a new game and have a look at it. We had a couple of technical issues when getting up and running, so apologies for the delay, and we're probably going to be a little bit later on some of our early schedule as a result, because everything just crashed out on me, which I think is an NVIDIA thing versus any specific game. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Although it does not seem to want to capture this game at all. Let's try this again. Sorry, chat. Okay, we're going to have to do this in a way that I don't really want to. Because none of this is working to capture this game. And we're in admin mode. We're doing the same thing we do for every other game. And it is just not wanting to capture. Try again.
The state of my own heart when the truth does come on out, and I've forgotten about, but when
I'm gonna try one more time, and if not, then this game has blown its chance. You have to be kidding me. Okay. Let's see if it's working this time. Hollywood Animal covers a large part of the 20th century and portrays many features of the film industry and society as a whole, among them manifestations of discrimination, intolerance, and various forms of violence. We believe to ignore and suppress these matters, no matter how terrible or unfair they may seem, would be to pretend they never existed. And it looks like the capture's working. Finally! New Year 1929, the hedonism of the 20s gives way to the Great Depression. The advent of talkies heralds the golden age of Hollywood, and life gives way to cinema. film companies fiercely compete for market and influence, the strong devour the weak. You purchase a bankrupt studio to build a new business on its ruins. Okay, so we can create a name and logo for our movie studio. I think that's all of the logos we've gone through now. Any suggestions on a name, chat? There you go. Go for a quick one. Staggeringly bad. Movies are not only made by actors and directors, your film studio also employs people who quietly keep the machine running behind the scenes. What are their names? Chief Legal Officer, well, that's got to be Wagley. Oh, I can't change their identities over, so apparently Wagley's going to be Chief Communications Officer. Right, and I'm assuming it's Dr. Placebo can doctor our finances. Along the studio grounds, you also receive footage from an unfinished movie. Filming was completed, but was never edited. You will need to complete the picture. What's the movie? So you can either have Limpin' Luke, which is a 50-50 action-adventure in the Wild West, Messenger of Death, a detective thriller in a modern American city, or Blind Love, romance and comedy in a modern American town. Well, let's go with the Messenger of Death. Prison break. One gloomy morning, 7 Quentin bounty prisoners stunned the guards, snuck into a warehouse and escaped the prison hidden in a truck. Most of the fugitives were serving for theft and assault, but one of them was a true menace. Our antagonist is a serial killer. Yep, those cornflakes aren't safe here. Played by Edward Peterson. The prisoner's name is Nick Crow, but the papers all call him the Courier. He brought flowers to a young woman and then killed them. After 5 murders, the police captured the Courier on a lucky break, but they were never able to determine his motives. The maniac's first victim was his own fiancée, but then the choice of the rest of the girls seemed random. The very next day after the escape, the Courier had already returned to his old ways. Dressed like a messenger, he delivered flowers to young Rita Peterson, who then stabbed her to death. Bill Zeman, Rita's fiancé, returned from work that evening to find his beloved dead on the floor, and his own desperate screams echoed through the neighborhood. Our protagonist, a detective. Bill had little faith in the local police, so he hired a private investigator, Harry Burrows. Harry was a young man, but he had sharp wits and a keen mind and enough to solve dozens of difficult cases, and even earn him the reputation of a genius. Rita and I just got engaged, Billsman offered helplessly as Harry examined the crime scene. Police had already taken away the body, but the bouquet of roses still remained on the living room floor. Compliments of the courier. Harry Burrows, played by Joe Duvall. And supporting characters, we have a sidekick. Harry looked around the house and talked to the neighbours, but he couldn't catch a lead. He decided to contact Kathy Watts, a journalist who covered the Courier murders in detail. Kathy came right away, carrying a hefty file. She got right to the point. After the previous murders, I talked to Crow's friends and learned about a cheap old shack he'd acquired a long time ago. It's past the city limits heading north. I told the police about the place when they arrested Crow 2 years ago, but they would just brush me off. They figured the case was already closed. Kathy Watts, played by Bessie Patterson. A search for a killer. Harry and Kathy hit the road, and soon enough they found the right house. It was a broken down hut, but obviously unsuitable to live in. But our heroes then saw a man in front of the house, locking the door. As Harry's car approached, the stranger took off running towards the woods. Harry drew his gun and leapt from the car, but the man was already gone. We scared him off. Now let's have a look inside. With that, Harry kicked the door down. The shack was practically empty. A carved wooden box drew Harry and Kathy's attention. Inside were 6 diamond rings, trophies. Rita Patterson was recently engaged, and the courier was engaged to his first victim. What about the rest of the girls? Harry asked. Kathy flipped through documents in a folder. Interesting. All the victims are soon getting married. Harry and Kathy trawled recent newspapers looking for engagement announcements. 2 couples surfaced, Rita and Bill, a tragedy already familiar to us, and also a certain Sandy Wick and her fiancé Tom. Harry and Kathy visited Sandy, who was happy to speak of yesterday's strange visitor. Yes, some strange messenger came with a bouquet of roses. No card, no note, just a bouquet. I decided it must be some kind of mistake, and I didn't take the flowers. The messenger just apologized and left. Harry immediately had a plan. He and Kathy hired a photographer and posed as an engaged couple. They made sure to capture Harry's rented yellow brick house, the only one in the area. They advertised their engagement in the newspaper, morning edition, and paid an extra $10 to have the photo printed beside the article. At noon the next day, there was a knock at the door. Kathy opened it, and there stood Nick Crow, the courier, smiling nervously in the doorway with a bouquet of roses. There's her secret admirer. Kathy feigned delight and took the bouquet and ran to put it in the vase, leaving the door wide open. The courier stepped into the house, pulled out his knife, raised it, and then felt a pistol in his temple. Harry's pistol. The finale. The courier grew wild. You don't understand. 2 years ago I was supposed to marry my dear Rachel when suddenly she starts receiving anonymous bouquets. I became jealous, but she just laughed and accepted all the flowers, no matter how many or how secret they might be. 1 week later, I caught her in some jerk's car, and all these animals are the same. First they say it's only flowers, and then they break your heart. They deserve to be punished. The courier won't be delivering any more flowers. This time he was sentenced to the electric chair. Harry added another win to his list of cases, and Kathy wrote a book about the courier. She called it The Messenger of Death. This shows the movie's commercial appeal. The higher it is, the more easy a film will succeed with general audiences. And this shows the movie's artistic appeal. The higher it is, the more recognition it can expect from sophisticated audience. A film's commercial and artistic appeal may change after each stage of development. The film Messenger of Death received these ratings after work on the script was completed. Screenwriter Maurice Fox loves to write detective stories. Thanks to his experience and talent, the investigation turned out to be suspenseful and intriguing. The story's elements came together to form a coherent whole. Okay. After pre-production, the film's ratings rose even higher. Casting famous actors is the surest way to boost commercial and artistic appeal, but other factors also influence the ratings, including quality scenery and modern equipment. Is one of our crew dead? After the production phase, the film's commercial appeal declined. The lead actor became seriously ill, he couldn't fight and looked too thin. However, the film's artistic appeal grew. Joe Duvall tried to make up for his lack of physique with the subtlety of his acting. Production problems were reflected in the lengthened schedule. Unfortunately, the actor passed away after finishing work on the film. We spent $431,000 on the picture. This isn't the final budget, as we work on the film is not yet complete. This is how the creators of Messenger of Death imagine their potential audience. When you start shooting your own pictures, you'll identify your own audience. The Messenger of Death is a subtle psychological thriller with a dark atmosphere and engaging dialogue. The film's audience are adult men and women, people who enjoy a serious tone and intricate plot. Time to send the footage to post-production to complete the film. So we click on the movie card. Assign employees to handle editing and scoring. At present, the studio's personnel are not the most qualified, but over time, their skills will grow. So we need to add an editor and a composer. Well, Emma Berry can edit, and we'll put Louis Murphy. We also need to decide who will develop the film and record the music and sound effects. Outside contracts are always ready to help with this. Okay, so we need... We'll put it in the Hollywood Concert Hall, and our sound recording, the sound magicians. So we're spending $36,000 and we're giving them 37 days. So is the producer a plan giraffe? Well, you've planned out the post-production, but until you assign a department head, you won't be able to get anything moving. To hire new employees, you first appoint a HR director. Right, let's click on the headquarters. I vote Wagley as HR director. Human resources officer. Wagley's already our chief communications officer, and you will like our films. You will. I mean, he's not happy here. You don't really want an unhappy person to... We've got Salvador Mayer as the Chief Human Resources Officer. Hire missing department heads. We need to hire a post-production head, a distribution head, and a maintenance head. Okay. We'll go for Jose Chapman. Why the fuck am I responsible for finance? You're going to go bust real quick. Because, Doc, I thought you could doctor our finance a little. Okay. So we need our head of department, our distribution department. Henry Gutman. And then we need our head of department in post-production. Post-production has begun. Here you can see how far along the project is and how quickly it's progressing. We need to build a script department. It's time to start working on a new movie. First, build a department for developing scripts. Screenwriters turn ideas into screenplays, so... Ah, right. Ready? It has to be that far away. Okay, let's get some... Go for our middle quote. Okay. You can speed up or slow down the passenger time here. Okay. Evergreen movies. So there's movies releasing all around us as well. Much sex, very yes, says Doc. Indeed. Dr. Placebo. Oh, Doc. I got divorced a couple of years ago and I figured I was out of chances until I met Gilda. We spent all our time together. We can't get enough of each other. It's always like that at the beginning, but we've been together a year now. We're like a drug to each other. I feel guilty even mentioning it, but when Gilda visits me at work, I absolutely cannot concentrate. She enraptures me. Yesterday, I nearly made a mistake on the paperwork that could have cost the studio a lot of money. Please do me a favor, help me fight this addiction. Let's introduce some kind of access control so Gilda can't just walk into my office. Yes, my heart will be broken like any drug addict, but I hate to hurt your business and ruin my career. The Messenger of Death is ready. So the Messenger of Death, we spent 36,000 on post-production, so we now spent 467,000 on the film. Oof. And it got worse. The film's commercial and artistic ratings dropped a bit. Don't be upset, you did everything you could. Your studio still has low levels of employees and technology. Okay, so now we need a poster for the Messenger of Death. Any suggestions, chat? Number 2, says Geld. Doc says, love is a drug. Can I get a prescription for that, please? Not sure how that's how that works. The release calendar displays all the films being shown across America for the foreseeable future. The studio's previous owners already chose a release date for this film. You choose a release date for the next film yourself. You don't just own a studio, but a whole network of 91 cinemas. You can run your films in your cinemas for free, but that's not going to be enough to reach a wide audience. You have to rent other theatres if you want solid box office receipts. The studio's previous owners already arranged this and paid the film's rental costs. In the first week, the film is scheduled to be shown 7,185 times. Some 3,185 of these screenings will take place in your cinemas, leaving 4,000 screenings across other cinemas. Next time you'll have a plan for this and pay the rental costs yourself. The screenings and rentals are scheduled out for 4 weeks from release. Once they expire, you can extend your rentals if you think the film can still make a profit. They'll start printing the film tomorrow, and will be finished and ready for distribution in 5 weeks. Distribution goes out all at once when they finish printing. Printing speed and cost vary by contract. The studio's previous owners already paid to have this film printed. Typically, a film begins promotion a few weeks before the premiere, so the advertising has time to gain momentum. The studio's previous owners already arranged the advertising campaign, but in the future you'll decide everything yourself. Your film's being promoted by an advertising agency. It's time to tell them the audience they should target. The studio's previous owners already paid the agency a promotion of 3 films. After that, you'll have to arrange the advertising yourself. Right, I think this one's going to be an adult. Audiences will soon be watching your first film. Good luck. Henry Gumman. You asked me, Messenger of Death is a surefire hit, a farewell film by a young star. The story has a soul, but it will all go to waste unless released at the right moment. The studio's former owners were mindful of these things. They scheduled the production carefully and chose a good window for releasing the film, right when the public would be hungry. And there was practically no competition. But when the studio closed its doors, those parasites from Margine's Pictures decided Messenger of Death would never see the light of day. I don't know who was pulling the strings, but they convinced all theatre owners to give them our slots. The film, the Margines are releasing instead doesn't have a title yet, but you know what kind of slop they serve the audience, probably something like Yesterday's Fart or Wet Armpits. The truth is on our side. We have all the documentation, but a court battle will be long and pointless. We'll miss the moment. No conversation will cover that. Instead, I suggest we use our connections to influence and remind theatre owners our agreements have to be honoured. You can spend influence points to advance your interests and solve problems in various and often unconventional ways. Jose Chapman. Construction of the script department is going according to plan so far, but there's a small snag. According to the architect's vision, a larger red leaf maple should be a central decorative element. The contrast found a suitable tree in a reserve on the border between Ontario and Minnesota, and already agreed on a price of transportation, but the inspector who issues the permit is playing coy. He can't say how long the paperwork will take, maybe a week, maybe a month or 2. You know as well as I do, sometimes you need to grease the gears. $200 cash and the tree will be on the road to California tonight. I don't want all our plans disrupted because some petty bureaucrat. When an issue needs to be resolved quickly and discreetly, the funds of the studio's bank account can be useless. When the situation gets tricky, cash is king. So obviously this is our cash reserve then. Construction completed. The script department's complete. We hire ahead for the script department. We'll hire Scott Flores. Without script, we don't have anything. Choose your favourite genres. This is what your writing team will specialise in. So, chat, do we want drama, comedy, action, romance, detective, adventures, thrillers, or historical films coming out of our studio? Maybe we go for some 5. Okay, so detective. Maybe we go for action detective films and... I don't know whether to go for like adventure or thrillers or romance. Yeah, you can choose 3 of them. There you go. Action detective adventures. Adventure detective sounds nice, says Geld. Right. These are screenwriters from the studio's former staff. What are their names? To begin working on a new script, select the script department building. The department worked up several ideas for a first script. Choose any idea you like and a screenwriter will develop it into a full screenplay. So we can have an action modern American city cop comedy on a tropical island with a knight. That sounds terrible. Detective in a fancy kingdom who's a hopeless romantic. I think the first one sounds like where we said our studio would specialise. Let's get Gald writing this. Do we have to write the others? Those sound terrible. 6 days, indeed. Continue to develop your film studio as key to your success. Pick upgrades for the department. No matter who's working in your script department, no one knows better than you what the film needs to be successful. With this upgrade, you can write your own stories. Okay. Some improvements take a while. Department heads will, in time, learn to speed up the process. It's wise to hold on to your experienced employees. Don't necessarily want faster. Oh, you can't research two at the same time. So we need to build ourselves a pre-production. Let's spend the money on decent construction, I think it would. There we got production. Oh, security. Production. Let's get that built as well. Our script department submitted 3 new story ideas. Okay. Oh. Ah, good at his job, but racist? I don't think so. Oh yeah, we need to build that security building because we said we would. Oh. So, some guy is $10. Yeah. That seems trashy enough. Let's go with that. Deary me. Oh. Wow, there are not very many letters. Yep, you get some sleep, Geld. Kinema. The Kinema rating system measures the audience reviews on the day of the premiere. If you're sure you released a quality film, but people aren't appreciating it, then you may have lured the wrong audience to theatres. Alright, that's not too terrible. Okay, so we're now $500,000 in the hole. Borrowed a little money from the people. They still think good guys. They had honest eyes. I'm a great judge of people. But now some annoying jerk is following me around everywhere the money I pay off the debt. I'd return the whole amount today, but I need a little time to recoup it. You know, well, they say you might be strong, but the cards are always stronger. This is all nonsense, by the way. I'll show the cards who's boss. So can you let me go for a couple of months while I sort this mess out? Okay, so we've got 9 things requiring attention at headquarters. And do some landscaping research. Our legal department. Our finance department. HR department. We'll go for services, and our PR department will improve our reputation for profitable films. Distribution department. Opens analytics and statistics where you gather information about our film's target audience. Yep, let's do it. Post-production. Let's improve our sound. Oh, we're doing okay in the box office. The Messenger of Death has made us some money. Construction completed. Pre-production, handpick actors and directors, select sets, texts, and more. These actors remained at the studio after it changed ownership, but what are their names? Okay, well, we've also got Mark Cheese. Get fire in there and a suffocate. These actors are, oh, we've got more actors. There we go. Double-edged sword, because you don't know what the actors are until they oof. Yeah, legally distinct. These are the directors who say the studio after changed ownership. They can keep their names. Lydia Globe. The legendary Lydia Globe is back in the saddle. Yeah, honey, I know you expect me to start a new film right away, but getting used to talking is taking longer than I expected. You understand, a bird that's used to flying in the clouds can't just dive down to the bottom of the ocean without a little preparation first. I'm doing a speech exercise to master the stage and stretching out my vocal cords, drinking egg cocktails, getting the velvety voice in the morning. You'd already notice the difference. That's right, honey. So please, I'm begging you. I mean, really begging you. Give me 3 more months off. Sure. Hey, Steve Otar, how are you? Is the stream showing up for you, Steve Otar? I'm assuming so, but let's go. Live. Okay, it is. We had some technical issues earlier. Okay, the first 4 weeks were successful. The film is still making a lot of money at the box office and we're paying rental fees. We'll make a lot more if we extend our original distribution. So yeah, let's extend it. Okay. Well, like Rory's a misogynistic alcoholic, apparently. Harsh. Fire's conceited. Excellent. There's a calm Harry Ray. Oliver Grant's an alcoholic, and Lee Murphy's a racist. Well, we can get rid of him as soon as we can. Okay, I think that's where we're going to stop. Fire's here. Lydia Globe is coming back out of retirement, or what I actually heard was she's never retired at all. She went off to work on her voice so she'll steal even more roles from us. It's too much to hope for. That greedy bitch to finally retire. There's got to be an ounce of justice in the world. You're already in the game, Mark. Unfortunately, your name's being put in the game before we know what your character will do. Our head of production. Okay. Right. We're going to save it there, guys, and we'll come back to this. So, because we have our next stream, which I will get ourselves underway with in just a moment. That looks like it's saved properly. Right. Do we have a Wagley? Wagley was in charge of communications. Alright, we've ourselves set up. That was our first play of the demo of Hollywood Animal. So let me know if you'd like to see more of it, if we want to play through more. But we are going to go switching over now to what we've got next, which is going to be some Farthest Frontier. Be back in just a moment. The soundtrack's pretty cool for this. Like the initial soundtrack bit. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment. We'll get ourselves up and running on Farthest Frontier. I'll do the stream switch over. I'll be back in just a few seconds.